Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me for today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Notre Dame's targets on the defensive line and on the linebacker front. This is somewhat called the front seven. I'm just going to say defensive line and linebacker to make it simple. On this slide, I got the defensive linemen, and then the other slide, I have the linebackers. Now, Notre Dame is recruiting more than just these 12 guys. Don't worry. I have 6 and 6. You're also going to notice some guys are not in their regular position. Tafidi is technically an outside linebacker on 247, but Notre Dame is recruiting him as a Viper defensive end in their defense. So that's something to note. And Tafidi is completely okay with that. I want to put that out really quickly. But let's start with Cyrus Moss, the 6'5", 220-pound defensive end from Las Vegas, Nevada. Good friends with Jake Taylor, good friends with Zion Branch, 2 other Bishop Gorman standouts. All 3 of them hold offers from the Fighting Irish. Cyrus Moss ranked 31st in the 247 Sports rankings. I think he dropped 2 spots. Those rankings came out earlier today. I'm filming this on February the 24th. So yeah, Cyrus Moss, super talented. Currently 1 crystal ball pick. It is of low confidence to the Oregon Ducks. So that's something to watch out for. Top schools in his recruitment, I'm going to say USC, Oregon, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Clemson. And I think that's a fair 5 schools. Maybe Arizona State's in there too. He just released the top 11 with a few more schools. Caleb Artis, defensive tackle from New York. Big kid, 6'5", 270. Pretty much all these kids that I'm going to talk about are at least 6'2" or 6'3". Artis has yet to play his junior season. He's in the state of New York. They have not played yet. It is looking like they will be playing this spring. And I think the only state that most likely will not be playing this spring is California. And then Hawaii has already canceled their football season. So another thing to note. But yeah, Artis, very talented. I think he deserves a low 4-star rating, but that's besides the point. He's very high on Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's probably in the lead with his recruitment. And Artis is a guy that if you're a Donovan Heinisch fan, I think Artis could be stealing his spot. I'll talk about that in a later video. I did not include Heinisch on here just because I'd rather include these guys, if anyone is wondering. Wilfredo Abar, the number 1 player in the state of Connecticut, super talented. USC, Notre Dame are 2 notable schools after him. His recruitment, I don't really think has a leader right now. I feel like he's going to take his timeline pretty far back, maybe as back as he can. I don't know. But he hasn't really been talking much about any school, isn't super active on social media, doesn't do a ton of interviews and stuff like that. So Wilfredo Abar is kind of an under-the-radar guy, but he's definitely a guy to watch out for. I think he's super talented, and I think he could legitimately be playing on Sundays. Tevaru Tafidi, 6'3", 222-pound, outside linebacker from Hawaii. He will be playing Viper end if he does choose the Fighting Irish. That is just something to note. He's ranked inside the top 250 on both the composite and the 247 rankings. And I love Tafidi. I'm a huge fan of his game. Like him more than Kia, like him more than Leafau. I'm a big Tagovailoa Amosa fan, but yeah, with the Hawaii kids, I don't like him more than Botello. I will say that. I'm a huge Botello fan as well, but cool thing is he knows a lot of those guys. He's very close with Maris Leafau, just as Kahana Kia was, and he knows of Amosa and Botello. So this is definitely a guy to monitor and definitely a guy the Notre Dame fans should know. He released the top 8 yesterday. Notre Dame was included. It was filled with a bunch of high academic schools and a bunch of West Coast schools. That was what I got from that list. Anthony Lucas, defensive tackle from Chaparral High School, Powerhouse High School in the Scottsdale, Arizona area. Big kid. He's about 6'5" now, 280. Ranked as the number 26th player in the country via 247. That is massive. That is really good. And it definitely shows why Mike Elson is pushing so hard for his services. UCLA is another school in this recruitment. But I think Notre Dame has the lead, and I think Notre Dame will eventually land his commitment and get the pen to paper with Anthony Lucas. Just a super talented kid, and Notre Dame fit as well in the classroom. So, yeah, love Anthony Lucas. And then DJ Wesolak, another huge kid. This time he's from Missouri. Good childhood friends with Tyson Ford. Trains with Tyson. Talks with Tyson. He's super, super close with Tyson Ford. So that definitely bodes well for the Irish. Wesolak did just pick up a Clemson offer, I believe, 2 days ago on Monday, February 22nd. That is off the top of my head. Don't quote me on that. So that definitely matters. Missouri is another school pushing here, but I don't know if they're going to take him or they're going to be able to get him. He's an obvious take for the Missouri Tigers, but I don't know. I really like Wesolak to end up in South Bend. He has yet to visit campus, so that is a question mark, but I expect Wesolak to try to get out to South Bend, maybe over his spring break or a long weekend or something like that, just a regular weekend. He doesn't live too far from Indiana, but yeah, Wesolak is a guy I could definitely see ending up in this class. And just something to end on these defensive linemen. If I had to make a prediction out of the 4 who end up in this class, they already, of course, have Aiden Gobiara and Tyson Ford. I think they'll end up taking 5 or 6. I think they're going to take Wesolak, Tafidi, Lucas, and then Artis is a question mark. And then if Artis or Lucas choose to go elsewhere, that opens the door for Donovan Heinisch to slide into that spot. But yeah, another big defensive line class for Mike Elston and company. Moving on to the linebackers. Robbie Snelling, linebacker from Reno, Nevada, McQueen High School, is a current Stanford baseball commit. I do not expect that to hold come this time next year, come signing day. I don't know if he's even going to play football at Stanford. I should probably look into that. But hey, Snelling is a talented, high academic kid. He's committed to Stanford. Dual sport athlete. I believe he will play baseball at Notre Dame if he does end up choosing Notre Dame. And to be completely honest, I think Notre Dame leads this recruitment right now. That's maybe a little bit of a stretch to say. There are a lot of schools coming after him hard. But Snelling, I think, it's a slight Notre Dame lean right now. I would not feel confident to put in a crystal ball pick or a future cast pick or whatever you want to say, a prediction pick. But Snelling, super talented nonetheless. Joshua Burnham, outside linebacker from Traverse City, Michigan. He released the top 3 a couple weeks back of Wisconsin, Notre Dame, and Michigan. I think it's a pretty much Michigan-Notre Dame battle at this point. Joshua was trying to wait out and see the coaching changes at Michigan. I think they definitely impacted him in a positive way. Mac McDonald, the ex-Ravens linebacker coach and current co-defensive coordinator for the Wolverines, is definitely going after him hard. And I think Joshua Burnham will end up at Michigan. I think this is going to be similar to a Rocco Spindler recruitment. It's just going to be a battle in the trenches. He is relating well to Marcus Freeman, though. It's pretty much all of these kids are. Marcus Freeman is one of the best recruiters in the country. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Joshua Burnham. He's ranked as the number 85 player in the country, according to 247 Sports, the number 2 player in the state of Michigan. Moving on to Devon Jackson, another really talented kid, ranked in the top 160 on both the 247 composite and the 247 Sports rankings. He released the top 5 last week of Miami, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, Arizona State, and there's one more school that I am forgetting off the top of my head. Arizona State, Miami, Texas A&M, Notre Dame. Gee, I want to look this up. My fault. It was not Vanderbilt. I thought it might have been. I remember Nebraska was held off. Oklahoma, that is the school. Sorry about that. Oklahoma. I believe he has not visited any of those schools. Nebraska, I thought was a near lock to end up in that top 5. He is from Omaha. He has visited Nebraska's campus multiple times, but they did not. Had a lot of good things to say about Notre Dame. I watched Mike Singer interviewed him, got the live reaction. That was really great. Make sure that you check out Blue and Gold on YouTube. They have excellent Notre Dame recruiting coverage. Shout out to them. But yeah, Devon Jackson, talented kid. I would consider him a Notre Dame lean at this point. Just with the other schools being further away and the academics not being as high caliber as Notre Dame's are, I think Devon Jackson will end up in this Notre Dame 2022 class. Niuafe Tahulimaka, inside linebacker from Mission Hills, California, Bishop Alemany High School. Very high academic, high athletic high school. Ranked in the top 85 on both the 247 composite and the 247 sports rankings. I love his game. He was a once USC commit, decommitted a few days after Notre Dame offered in late January. Notre Dame definitely seems to be the leader right now. Stanford, Oregon, Texas are a few to know. He's very close with Malik Murphy. Current Texas quarterback Pledge. Sark always does his wonders in the California and the West Coast and on the West Coast. So you got to watch out for Texas here. So yeah, Nafia Tahulimaka is one to know. I would consider him a Notre Dame lean at this point. Sebastian Cheeks, another guy I would consider a Notre Dame lean. 6'2", 210, has yet to play his junior season. He will be starting that in about a month in the state of Illinois. He's ranked in the top 155 on both the 247 composite and the 247 sports rankings. Has visited Notre Dame twice, I believe once on his own and once for the Boston College game last year. I'm a huge fan of Sebastian Cheeks. I love his game. I think after he plays his junior season, he'll move up into the top 75 or 65. And he's just another guy you need to have in this class. I think Notre Dame is a clear leader in his recruitment right now. Michigan is probably up there as well, but pretty far behind. Now, David Bailey, a guy I've not put into these last few target boards and dream classes. He's a guy I will definitely have in my next dream class, in my next target board. Bailey is just an overall stud, ranked in the top 120 on both the 247 sports and the 247 sports composite rankings. I believe he's in the 60s on Rivals. Huge fan of his game. He does not have social media, so that's why he did not report publicly a Notre Dame offer, but Alabama and USC are two others to know here. High academics will matter, and yeah. So yeah, out of these 6 guys, if I had to assume who will end up in this class, I'm going to go Davon Jackson, Nafia Tahulimaka, Sebastian Cheeks, and if Notre Dame does decide to take a 4th linebacker, which is unknown at this point, I think the most realistic shot is at Robbie Snelling, top left, and then Davon Jackson, mid left, Nafia Tahulimaka, right middle, and then Sebastian Cheeks, bottom left. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment a question. I respond to all questions. And yeah, thank you for watching.